Today is rescue mission day. Now, for some of you guys just tuning in, rescue missions are when customers attempt to do an assembly and then finally throw in the white flag. They're waving the flag. Oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. And so they basically call us in to clean up their mess and finish the dirty work, which we totally are down for, right? So this particular rescue mission is for IKEA 8-drawer dresser. And last night, a lady reached out to us, sent us photos, and immediately off the bat, I could see that, you know, there's some pieces that were put on backwards and upside down. And I even went through the lengths of trying to say, hey, like, you've already gotten maybe 50 to 75% of the way there. You know, maybe if you send me some pictures, I can like walk you through it. Got on the phone with her, tried to walk her through it. And as soon as, you know, we hung up the phone, she was just like, this is just a nightmare. So, you know, just pay you to have you to come in. And so we actually get these, you know, from time to time, actually quite often. We had a rescue mission for a treadmill the other day. Just from the photos, you can see that the treadmill was kind of like lopsided and kind of, you know, leaning to one side or the other. But we actually got it done for her, and they loved it. Actually left a review. But yeah, rescue mission day, I kind of like these because, well, it's give and take. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's not so good. This time I would consider this a good one because I actually saw a picture and I was like, okay, did a decent job. There's some stuff that are backwards, but sometimes you get stuff that you basically have to do all the disassembly. You have to basically take everything apart and then start from fresh. But the good thing is usually everything is already unboxed, obviously, if they already started. So, but anyway, glad I can take you guys for the ride. Let's get to it. Here we're on site of the rescue mission here, and so essentially I know what I'll need, probably just basic tools. So I'm just gonna bring my tool bag, obviously partner in crime, which is this tripod, and yeah, I mean, if there's anything that I really need that I don't have in my bag, you know, I'm literally like right behind these condos right here. By the way, this scenery is beautiful. Another reason why I love what I do. It may not be as much the case when it's snowing out. It is no longer raining, but it is snowing and it's super slippery out. But this current situation right now, look at all this snow on my face, and oh my god, yeah guys, this is crazy. But nonetheless, while we're here, you know, we bask in the sun. So yeah, let me make sure I got all the stuff I need. Safety gear first, obviously. Grab my mask. Oh, COVID-19, what you have done to this world. Shoe covers, and I don't think I'll need my table because this thing is already built up pretty good. Like, you guys should see it. Like, the cams are like facing the front, so they're exposed on the bottom of the dresser, and it's just stuff just upside down. Actually, I'll leave a photo for you guys to, like, you know, look at it and check it out. But you know, the customer tried their best, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the driver's seat from here. So let's get inside and see what we got. Hi, how's it going? This is NT from Prime Spaces. I'm right downstairs.
All right, I'll come down and grab it.
Okay, thank you. How's it going? Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Here to the rescue.
Yes, I'm on the phone with my friend. She's like, why would you pay someone to do? I said, no,
Yeah, no,
it's gonna go to the trash.
Honestly, so many people say that, well, why would you pay? I'm like, no, it's if you don't know exactly what you're doing, if you miss a step,
yeah,
it's hard to trace back. But I've done thousands of assemblies, so I'll be able to take care of this for you.
Because if not, it's going to the trash.
All right, cool. Let me just put my shoe covers on.
Oh, fine.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'll do that. This is what we got. All right. So let's get to it. So first thing I'm gonna do is tighten these cam bolts right here. See how there's a space in between it? I don't know if you guys can see that right there. So that gap right there is because this cam right here is not tightened. So I need to loosen it, push these closer together, and then tighten it again. So I'm gonna do that for all the ones that could potentially be like that. Like that one has a small gap. So that's what I'm gonna do right now.
Good Tesla,
So I got those tightened up. Then did the same thing for the other side as well. So the next part of the mission is to get these tight right here. So they give them an Allen key, but sometimes it's tough to use it because it's a manual tool. I obviously have my drill and my extender piece, so I'll be able to get in there nice and easy. this one as well. Sorry if it's hard to hear me because I got my mask on. The customer stepped out for a second to run some errands, so hopefully I can talk to you guys a little bit more. I didn't want to be too intrusive, although I did ask her if it was okay if I recorded so that, you know, obviously you guys can see what I'm doing. Now, the thing with IKEA is, you know, it's so popular, right? A lot of people love to buy IKEA. The thing is, sometimes it's hit or miss. It's either something where it's like you don't need any tools whatsoever, and then it could be something that has a gazillion pieces. Obviously, this is a 8-piece dresser, so it's gonna have a lot of parts and pieces. I'm sure it's the reason why we're here. But if you don't have certain tools to make the job easier, it's gonna be difficult. So like I was showing you guys here, there's a gap in between this wooden piece and this piece right here. And she started the screw, but she didn't make it all the way in because she was given this Allen wrench, this Allen key. This Allen key, basically this screw right here, it goes inside. And what you do is you crank it, and that's what's connecting here, and it was basically pushing it out. So what's making it easier for me is this extended piece right here, right? And I have different levels that help me push it in a little bit harder or stronger. Now, typically when you're putting together furniture, you always want to have it on like the lowest level, right? Rarely are you going to need to jack it all the way up to level, 18. This setting right here will surely destroy your furniture, right? So I'm going to crank that down to like 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 top. Let's go with 3 for now. And then you can adjust. But for now, because I'm dealing with wood, I don't want to crack this. I'm going to use a very, very light level. All I'm going to do right now, and very carefully, is get it set. Okay, see here I can't move anymore? That's good. All I got to do now is crank it up just a little more. I'll put it to 6, just to make sure that gap is very, very loose. So it can still move, but I don't know if you guys can see from there. You probably can't, but this is now locked in a little bit tighter. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side right here. The customer actually did a pretty good job. The thing that she was missing is the power tool. At least the power tool to make it easier. You can use this, but it takes a lot of muscle in your wrist, and it can get very, very frustrating, especially if you don't know why it's not going all the way in. You may think you did something wrong. You may think, in this case, you don't have the right tool, or you may not know what to think, right? So that's why they call us in. So let me actually explain to you guys why she was not able to get these tight. And this just comes with understanding these parts and pieces. When you have things like this is called a cam. And you can see, not the arrow that's here on the left, but you see that arrow at the top right here that's on this side? That is the opening for the cam. And so this needs to be pointing towards the bolt that it's coming out of. So on this side is a bolt coming out that locks in. So what I'm supposed to do is twist this so that it locks. However, if you slide this bar right here into here, if you push it all the way in and that arrow right there is not facing towards it, or it's facing upwards or backwards, it's not actually locking inside the pin. It's being blocked off. And so when she was trying to push that in, that arrow that's at the top here was not facing outward. So that's why she couldn't get it to lock. So I had to basically loosen it, I needed to have this arrow facing this outer piece right here. And now I can just come in and tighten it just like this. Now you're gonna see where that arrow is gonna end up. See the arrow still there? Now it's locked, okay? No gap. Now that everything is tight, you saw I was able to pick it up and lift it, right? It's one solid piece. In the beginning, I don't know if you remember seeing me try to twist it. The front part was leaning down. That's because everything was loose. But now that I've gotten everything tightened and I'm ready to continue to build out the rest of the dresser, you can see, even with one hand, see how everything is one solid piece? All right, so we're gonna continue with the build. And I hope you guys are learning something too. All right, so big credit to the customer, because you guys can see that this is the opposite end of the dresser. I'm gonna have to put the side piece on, which is right here. And she actually already installed all the hardware. So she installed the drawer tracks here properly too. I can see that they're oriented correctly. She has the dowel pins here. Everything is locked in pretty good. Oh, actually, you can see here, there's small gaps. See that gap in between? That has to do with the same thing that I was mentioning earlier. So these cams right here, when she was tightening it, that arrow was not pointed towards here. So when she tried to tighten it, it's not all the way flush. So what I'm gonna do is slightly loosen these, push them back in, and then tighten them. So now let's take a look. See, you can barely see it. You see how small that is? That's how tight it should be. You shouldn't be able to like slide like a couple sheets of paper. Anyway, this is ready to go. And so you see these right here, these pieces of hardware that's sticking out, those are gonna go into holes that are on the end of this part right here. There you go. And now I just Before I continue, you're at battery dead. That's why you always carry extra battery and a charger. The great thing about these batteries is that they only take about 10 minutes to fully charge. I also just realized that the customer forgot to put on a very, very important piece. Actually, I forgot to put that on. So I'm kind of going off the wing right here by the directions, but essentially this part right here needs to go down here and going across the entire piece. So all I have to do really is just loosen up this end piece that I just put on, just untighten them, slightly move it off, attach this, and then put it back on. I also noticed that when the customer started to put this piece on, she put this dowel pin in the wrong hole. Right, so you can see that there's supposed to be a screw that goes into it in order to lock it, but she put the dowel pin in the wrong hole, so this needs to be over here. So she was pretty much doomed when she got to this step because she would not be able to connect it because there's no hole for the other screw to go into. So I'm going to pull this out, put this one in here, just using these pliers right here. Back in. Already made that adjustment to this side, so this should be able to go in pretty easy now. Alright, so the next step is to put the top of the dresser on top of the frame, or place it on top of the frame. Customer already made some headway with it. You can see that there's screws right here. There's some on the top here as well. I'm not sure if you guys can see 1, 2, 3. So she did a lot of things right. She actually did a lot of things right. It was just those small details, tools of the trade, kind of understanding how some of these hardware parts work. Clearly by the those cams with the arrows pointing towards the holes, none of them were aligned. So that's just a small detail that if you've done a lot of these, that you'll understand. It's also in the directions, but people tend to gloss over directions a lot when it comes to assemblies. The only thing that I got to do is add these dowels and add these cams to the top parts here so that they can lock in with this top of the dresser that I'm going to do right now. Alright, so all the cams are in. I just got to do these dowel pins, and then we can place the top of the dresser onto the main frame here. Alright, ready to go. And so now I'm going to go through and tighten all the cams. Now, next step is to put this back piece behind the dresser so that it's not exposed. Let me show you what I mean. So you see how that back piece is exposed? I'm going to take this, open it up. I'm gonna take these nails and we're gonna nail them all the way around. Okay, so before I nail this down, I wanna make sure I have something on the ground. Typically, if you do an assembly, you wanna have something underneath, but for what I'm gonna be doing right now, I don't have a blanket with me and I don't wanna go searching around the customer's house, but I did grab some trash bags that I see on her desk right there. And I'm gonna put that down on the front going across. That way there's something in between the furniture and the floor. Ideally, for these, if you're gonna be building this, you wanna have something down, at least initially. And I have a couple for the legs down here. Alright, so you can see that the main frame is done, and so all I gotta do now is build out the shelf. So let's head over to the table and get those built out right now. Alright, so we got the table set up. First thing I'm gonna do is open this right here, and I'm gonna organize all of these pieces, right? I'm gonna get all the screws that look alike, all the screws that are the same, into separate piles. That way, when I'm building this, I know exactly what I need, rather than fishing and searching through this entire bag. That's one of the things I hate about IKEA. Most of the time, they don't section off the pieces. You get a big bag like this, and when you get a big bag like this, everything is kind of mixed up, so you have to organize it. So that's what I'm gonna do right now.
That little bit you saw took me 6 hours.
Oh, it took you 6 hours to get to that?
Yeah.
Guys, 6 hours. I have to give you credit. Although it took you 6 hours, you moved along pretty well, I think.
You're just being nice to me. I think it's that much.
All the parts are organized, so it's gonna make it a lot easier for me to go through the rest of this assembly. So, I hope you don't mind making a cameo appearance.
Alright, on to the last step, which is to build out the drawers. First, we're going to add 2 dowel pins to each end of the drawer sides. Then we're going to insert 2 cam locks into the 2 holes located on each of the drawer sides. Make sure you have them oriented properly with the opening of the cam lock pointed towards the edge with the hole. Get them stacked and organized like a pro so you can breeze through this. Once that's done, grab the drawer fronts and with a tool that you are comfortable using, either a screwdriver or a drill, screw 4 cam bolts into the 4 holes located on the inside of each drawer front. If you're using a drill, don't go full throttle trying to attach the bolt. Just lightly tap the trigger to get the bolt set before you fully tighten it. Then we're going to attach the left and right drawer sides onto the drawer fronts with the cam locks facing the inside. Insert the drawer bottom and attach the drawer back using 4 plastic pins, 2 on each side. You should probably use a small rubber mallet for this step if you have one. Flip it over and attach this metal support along with the left and right drawer sliders. Then lastly, attach the drawer handles. Then you wash, rinse, and repeat for the remaining drawers.
So basically we're like 99.9% that I'd say.
Yeah.
You agree?
I agree.
So basically we have all the drawers lined up here, all right? And so the next step is literally just slide them in. But I should actually ask you, is it gonna go in this room right here?
It is.
So maybe what I'm thinking we should do is move this main piece in there first,
Okay.
rather than put these in because it's gonna be too heavy.
Yeah.
It'll be heavy, yeah. So we're gonna move this into the next room and then slide all the pieces in.
Guys, we have a live testimonial here. We were talking and she said something that like jumped out of my ear, saying that she literally had nightmares about the dresser that she started last night. So I'm gonna let you hear straight from the horse's mouth.
So I found myself being a DIY type girl, like, okay, I can build this dresser myself. Went to IKEA, bought the pieces, opened up the box. I'm like, oh, I can do this. Started it at probably like 3:30. It was then 10 p.m. and I was still working on the frame piece of the dresser. At that point, I was, you can only imagine, I was entirely stressed out. And I'm in the process of moving. So I found myself getting frustrated, and then I heard about NT through a friend. So I'm like, you know what, can you come tonight? I can't come tonight, but I'll squeeze be doing tomorrow? I'm like, okay. So I go to my cousin's house. I try to sleep. And then I find myself dreaming about the parts and how I'm gonna get this dresser fixed. What if he can't do it? And then I didn't realize how stressed I was in that time frame. And then he comes earlier today. He starts working on it, not we, because we clearly know where I got with the dresser. But he then starts working on it, and then I realized that I feel like a burden lifted from my shoulders. I didn't realize how tense and stressed out I was about a single dresser. And I know it sounds crazy, but when you have like 100 pieces in one small living room, it doesn't make sense. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, where do I put this? So if he didn't come do it, it was going to the trash because I was over it. I didn't even have the energy to ship it back to or bring it back to IKEA. But he came and he relieved all that stress. And after this video, I'm taking a nap. I'm tired. I'm tired.
She's emotionally drained.
Yes.
She's physically drained. Like
yeah, IKEA almost had the best of me. Okay.
guys, moving forward, you know the decision to make when it comes to your furniture assembly. If you decide to embark on that journey by yourself, may God be with you. and I wish you the best of luck. But of course, if you need, the medic to come in and take care of that for you, we'll do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this assembly process. You enjoyed the assembly process?
It was peaceful.
And it was pretty cool because when you went to go run your errands, I had an opportunity. I was like explaining to these guys like the things that I was adjusting and fixing. So viewers, I hope you guys enjoy it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off, get out of her hair, let her get some rest.
How about that? I mean, how can I go home today and not feel good? Being able to help literally relieve the stress of people. And that furniture assembly stress is real. It's real. Like, she's saying a lot of those things, and I've heard other customers utter and say the same things when it comes to assembling furniture and them not being able to do it properly. So when you're expert at something and you love doing it and you love doing it with pride, I think that's the biggest thing. I take a lot of pride in what I do. It's not just furniture assembly. I'm literally taking and relieving the stress of people and giving them back time and allowing them to rest and sleep peacefully. Like, she literally was losing sleep because she was just trying to figure out, like, what am I gonna do? And she said it verbatim. She lost sleep thinking about all these pieces and all this pieces of furniture and hardware that's in my living room right now. And I believe last night I heard, kids running around. So I didn't see them there, but I think that she has kids, or maybe has kids in the house. And so that's never a good idea to have all that stuff laying around with kids there, because someone can easily bang their toe on it or scrape themselves on it as they walk by. I'm happy with what we were able to accomplish today. Sometimes these rescue missions, they don't always turn out like that. Sometimes these rescue missions, they are so far gone and so deep in the hole that it's hard to salvage the pieces of furniture. Luckily with her, like I was saying in the video, she was on the right track. She just didn't have the right tools to make sure that everything was tight. And she did have some things backwards. But for the most part, she set me up pretty well to get this done rather quickly. But anyway, guys, today's been a good day. Gracious for today, full of gratitude. Happy that I'm able to walk the earth and bring some smiles to people today. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys on the next video. Peace.